The NOPD's new crime lab stands 5 stories tall on Gravier Street, behind the criminal courthouse at Tulane and Broad. Officials opened it in late 2022, but just weeks after the building was finished, workers started emailing their superiors about problems with water intrusion, mold, vibrations in the building interrupting ballistics testing.
The design of this building may be an even bigger problem than the construction and HVAC issues. Mayor LaToya Cantrell even admitted that in a news conference here in 2024.
Mayor LaToya Cantrell admitted as much in this April 2024 news conference, announcing $4 million in new federal dollars for crime lab equipment. She said this design was done before she took office. These plans are dated June 6, 2018.
We learned very quickly as we started to, again, hit that ground that the design, although had made it to 100%, really wouldn't be adequate in terms of serving this community.
She made the call to build the building anyway.
But we had to make tough decisions. Do we redesign? Although the city had already spent the money to design. Do we then find additional resources for a redesign? Or do we move forward ensuring that we're doing what we said we would do to our partners at the federal government and demonstrate that the city of New Orleans is focusing on utilizing the federal dollars to make this city whole?
Sources with knowledge of the problem say the building wasn't wired properly for needed technology. And not only is the HVAC system causing water problems, it wasn't designed for scientific labs that can't have air blown into them from the outside. Now the city is spending $9 million more to renovate a 4-year-old DNA floor to try and get it up and running by 2027. City Council member Leslie Harris has led the effort to get the DNA lab open as soon as possible. She questioned the crime lab director, Dr. Shamika Kelly, about it at a Criminal Justice Committee meeting last September.
Dr. Kelly,
yes, ma'am.
What's our timeline? I know it keeps shifting. I know that there's some additional renovations that you need to make, as well as hiring up. So where are we now with the timeline on getting our DNA lab up and running?
So from my initial assessment in 2023, it was 2027.
Again, that $9 million is just for the DNA floor. It won't cover all the renovation the building needs. I scoured through 600 pages of emails exchanged between the NOPD, the Cantrell administration, and the contractors about the building to figure out what was going on. Last July, Kelly emailed Harris, Chief Ann Kirkpatrick, and staff a laundry list of problems with the building. Among them, the HVAC, building vibrations, interrupting ballistics testing on the 5th floor, improperly installed eye wash stations, the mold, and more. Quote, while I do not have the precise cost estimates for constructing a new building, architectural engineers recently provided an estimate of $9 million to renovate the DNA floor to meet operational standards. Their broader assessment suggests that the remaining floors would also require renovation. Given the $9 million cost for just the 4th floor, it may be more cost-effective to construct a new crime laboratory and repurpose the existing building. Harris asked Chief Kirkpatrick about it during this year's budget hearings.
I was going to ask you specifically about not only staffing, but the physical building. I know that have been some issues. My understanding from property management is that we're going to try to go after the contractor who built the facility to make sure that they're bearing the burden of the cost of those repairs.
But we even looked at it, should this lab move there, or do you spend the money to rehab the building that you are in right now? So I'm mindful of, are there better ways where we could save money if it meant even a move to a different facility?
I asked Harris her thoughts about it in our interview this week.
My thought is that we are in a budget crisis and we cannot repurpose a new building. We need to make sure that we can get this DNA lab up and running. And so again, if we can recoup it from the people who initially constructed the building and designed the building, I think that's what we need to do. But I don't see a full overhaul of this building or construction of a new building anytime soon.
I also asked the NOPD 3 times to interview Kirkpatrick and Kelly about the building. They declined, instead releasing this statement to me. Spokesman Reese Harper said, quote, "We are currently planning a renovation of the 4th floor that will address infrastructure and design limitations, including ventilation, air handling, and overall laboratory layout. These improvements will support forensic operations, align with quality assurance standards, and allow for continued staffing expansion, including dedicated space for CODIS functions. In the interim, temporary solutions, such as supplemental cooling systems, are in place and functioning as intended to maintain the continuity of operations."
You can't half-step on a DNA lab. You got to pay full price. You got to get the right people. You got to pay them. You got to retain them. And you got to keep that equipment up to standard. And you got to maintain your accreditation. It is a big task, but it's a task that the city of New Orleans has done before and needs to do again sooner than later.
Despite the challenges, Kelly appears confident the DNA lab will be accredited and up and running by the end of next year.
Again, all of these renovations are aimed at getting that accreditation so that the DNA lab can get up and running. And as for the water and mold problems with the building, the city is handling those. In a statement, the administration said, quote, "The original HVAC systems failed and a temporary unit is installed in the building. We have 2 new units on order that have a scheduled delivery for July. Once the new systems are installed, a new test and balance will be done, and this should help address the appearance of mold. We have had an environmental company test inside the facility, and remediation was done in the areas as directed."